Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching this weekly Ag Weather Update brought to you by the Farm Credit Associations of North Carolina. We're going to start off with a map of our last 30 days looking at the percent of normal precipitation. And as you notice, the eastern side of the state has been quite dry. Some places here sitting between about 20 and 50% of normal on precip. But primarily due to two tropical systems, right? We had Ida and Fred that kind of went through this corridor. We have some places over toward the Appalachian Mountains that are sitting almost up to 300% of normal on precipitation. As you get into Tennessee, those numbers go even higher. And just to show you where things kind of rank, let's look back over the last month. So this is mid-August here through the 12th of September. You can see right down here in this climate reporting district in the southwestern corner of North Carolina sitting as the 8th wettest of all time for that 30-day time period. And again, these data go back 129 years. But just get on the other side of the state line here, and this reporting district in Tennessee is having its wettest such time period. So this kind of puts into perspective how things have been going. Now, something for the corn and soybean farmers here. Just want to take note of how wet it has been in parts of the upper Midwest and getting into the western Corn Belt and northern plains as of late. And generally speaking, a lot of this rain came way too late to really save the crop, and it's actually making it quite difficult for kind of end-of-season operations here as we head toward harvest in this area. And we're going to see some major changes in the statistics here as we have a powerful tropical cyclone that's moving toward there named Nicholas that's going to be putting in some flooding rain down in parts of Texas and Louisiana. The big question is, as Nicholas moves in a direction like this, do we end up getting that rainfall here? Because it's not only Nicholas that we're watching here. There's actually another tropical system that's just off the coast we're going to be paying attention to. Let's go ahead and look at some of our latest satellite imagery to see where that stuff is currently located. So here's Nicholas, a large tropical storm. It has not yet been classified as a hurricane as of early in the morning on Monday, but it's going to slowly move inland and then move across parts of Louisiana toward Mississippi, Alabama, northern Georgia by midweek. Now, will that moisture from Nicholas get over to the Carolinas, where this morning, once again, if I kind of rock back and forth here, that line is the sunrise line, by the way. You can see the smoke we're still dealing with in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, and that's all from western wildfire smoke here. But in addition to that, we are going to be watching the potential for some tropical development off the coast. We have to see where that goes. And just don't forget, we have more storm systems moving here through the upper Midwest, through the western Corn Belt, that'll pull into the Great Lakes states. And you know that they have the ability to drag fronts over through us this time of year. So that's the other piece of this puzzle we're trying to put together is, will those fronts make it to us as well to increase precipitation moving forward? So multiple moving pieces here, and let's start in the Atlantic. So right now, of course, we have Nicholas. Let's go take a look at the latest update here from Nicholas. How about looking at where the projected path is to be? So right now, the National Hurricane Center has the winds at 60 miles an hour. Of course, it needs to hit 74 to be classified as a hurricane, but it's likely too close to the shore for that to occur. So tropical storm status as we get into Texas, and then it'll weaken to a tropical depression, possibly crossing the Mississippi River overnight hours on Wednesday into early Thursday morning. So that's going to take a while for it to move through this area. And because of that, the flood threat is quite high. We see that we're expecting 6 to 15 inches of rain in through this area. Remember, Ida, we're still cleaning up after Ida as it went through this part of Louisiana recently. So this is going to continue to be a major, major problem for parts of Texas and Louisiana as we work our way through this week. Now, let's go back and take a look at the next system I want to talk about. There is currently a 50% chance of development here on a system that's just sitting off, kind of off of the Bahamas here. And the projected potential path of that is going to keep whatever forms here most likely away from shore. And there's several reasons for that. A lot of it has to do with the steering currents that are out here in the open Atlantic, but also frontal passages that are moving through the northeast, which are going to help redirect whatever this could be here away from the U.S. coastline. But what we do notice here is that there is an 80% chance of development of a system that just came off of the west coast of Africa. And that's the one I'm most concerned about. And here's some of the reasons why. This next series of maps shows you the probability of developing a tropical depression. So we already know that we're here with Nicholas. It's already a tropical storm. But we see, if you notice, this system here, the highest probabilities of development keep it offshore. But what's following it right in through here is what I'm going to have to watch carefully, because there's still an 80% chance that this develops as it moves toward the Lesser Antilles. And the question is, do we continue to see the development of this over north of the Bahamas? And then remember, this is just that time of year that these systems can move toward the Carolina coast. Now, the model will not represent that. In other words, this system is yet to be developed. But as we get out there toward the equinox, so on September 21st, we're going to watch this system very carefully to see where it sits and how well it developed by that time. All right? So that's the first piece to all of this. But let's come back to that precipitation discussion before I show you the next couple of pieces. And let's just put it all together. This map shows you through the next 10 days what the probability is for getting another inch of rain. And what you notice is across North Carolina, these values are down here in the 10 to 30% range. We're not looking at high chances of being overly wet. And so if we look at those other moving pieces, namely the fronts moving here, we have to then ask ourselves, when will we be returning kind of meaningful widespread precipitation, and what impact will this have on our harvest efforts? So from the WPC, this comes from the National Weather Service, over our next 7 days, this is how much precipitation we're expecting. So now you can see it. There's a low moving in this direction. Its front will be sitting right in through here. And here comes Nicholas. But overall, we're looking across the state here. We're seeing these rainfall amounts are generally less than a ½ inch in total. So let's go ahead and take a look at the latest updates here on when to expect our next rounds of precip. And we're going to start with the high-resolution NAM model. As I play this forward, we see that getting through the day on Monday, there could be some scattered showers in the Appalachian Mountains, but other than that, not much to talk about. We then see Nicholas spread through Louisiana and Mississippi by the time we get out here to Tuesday, 7 p.m. And all we could expect to see across North Carolina are widely scattered showers on the heat of the day. And we're going to talk about those temperatures in a few moments. But you can see the position of the front and Nicholas here. And we want to know if they're going to come together to come right over the top of North Carolina. We're going to get all the way out here into Tuesday night and then eventually into Wednesday morning. And we see the heaviest rains making it through Tennessee over toward the Appalachian Mountains, where we will get some enhanced lift along those mountains. But we're going to be adding a lot of rain to where we've already had an abundance of it over the last 30 days. So the NAM takes us out 60 hours, which gets us out here to midday on Wednesday. We're going to let the European model take over from there. So let's get out that far. Here's through Monday, now through the day on Tuesday. And how about we stop right here Wednesday afternoon? So there's our main front. There's the would-be tropical system should something get developing here. And that is where we've just recently seen the heavy rainfall from Nicholas. So playing this forward, we could get some scattered showers. Let me step you back there. Some scattered showers, if I could do this. There we go. In this area on Wednesday evening. But then going through Thursday morning, afternoon, and evening. The front stalls, and Nicholas is still advancing. And other than some coastal showers, we're not talking about much. That's through Thursday evening. Let's now go out to Friday morning, afternoon, and evening. Could get some scattered showers toward the end of the week, and it's going to be hot, so they'll be feeding on the heat of the day. But that front never slid through, and the moisture from Nicholas is now sitting here. So this is Friday evening, getting into Saturday morning, afternoon, and evening. What you just see are these big flashes of green late in the week and over the weekend. That's scattered storms. That's how this model produces a forecast of scattered thunderstorm behavior. As we just play it on through, this gets us into early next week. And by Monday, we're not talking about much at all as higher pressure comes back in. So through your next 7 days, we've really just got chances late in the week for some scattered storms. That's about it. Nicholas does not appear to keep its act together to bring us heavy, heavy rains, and the fronts just stall out to our north. So thinking about all of that, let's just go look now what the pattern's going to do beyond this. Because through the week, we do see that deeper troughs are developing in the Pacific Northwest. Like, look at this. I stopped you out here on Saturday. Highly amplified flow. And what that means is we're going to be too far underneath the nearest ridge to really get any cool air in place to bring the fronts through as the colder air settles into the west and really builds into a large ridge over the east. Now, you know what this means in terms of our temperatures, which I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. But as we play this out here, our precipitation pattern, let's just keep going, out into next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we just continue to see the pattern staying to the north, so troughs will be coming through, but no major deviation from normal on our pattern here. And if we even look out here in the European model, it has very much the same thing. So looking out from day 10, just playing through, that ridge seems to be stuck in place over much of the eastern part of the United States. So precip-wise, week 2, not seeing strong signals. In fact, it looks to be drier toward the coast. This gets us all the way out almost to the end of September here. That means those long-range model forecasts, which we've been looking at, which suggested this could happen, had a good handle on this pattern overall with the increasing pressure and its impact on precip. Now let's talk temperatures, because today's going to be a hot one. Raleigh, 92 degrees. We go from Monday into Tuesday, still in the low 90s. Upper 80s on Wednesday. Could get some cloud cover from the northern edge of Nicholas, plus that front. Remember, that's going to try to come through here. But other than that, we spend much of this week in the upper 80s, possibly getting early in the week into the low 90s. But overall, it's a week where we have above average temperatures, and that extends all the way out into Sunday as well. So you didn't see really one day where we saw cooler than average weather coming in. And as you noticed, the ridge that's developing over the east is going to give us the day 5 through 10 time period favoring warmer conditions as well. We could be anywhere between 3 and 8 degrees above average in terms of temperatures out that far. That gets us all the way out to the 23rd of the month. And now going all the way out to the 28th, we continue to see above normal temperatures favored. Doesn't mean it'll be hot every day, but favored here for North Carolina. Okay, we got through the near-term forecast relatively quickly because the major moving pieces weren't really impacting us. So what I want to spend the last little bit in this video talking about is the long-range updates. We're going to go straight to the European model first. So from the fall equinox, which will be around the 21st, all the way to the 21st of October, we again do not see strong signals for above normal precipitation. Now, I'm going to put the caveat in here is that we don't know about any would-be tropical development that could completely upset this. But overall, that higher pressure we discussed in our most recent videos continues to be the case, and we just don't see strong signals going over wet. On the temperature side of this, you can see we're going to favor mild conditions. Mild overall as we slide into the very beginning of autumn. Now from there, the main moving pieces are dominated primarily in the tropics. And what's going on here is that we are starting to see a lot cooler water emerge in our La Nina region as the trade winds begin to kind of pick up some speed. We're still quite warm out here in the open Atlantic, and what you've got here is the cold water trail from Larry. So Larry, of course, is now out of the picture here, but that's the cold water trail from Larry. But with this developing La Nina and the Southern Oscillation Index back above a value of 7, we expect it to continue through the fall time period. And should that continue, what does that mean for our weather patterns here? So let's do a quick review of this. And also, I just want to make a point here. The very warm conditions in the North Pacific will also be affecting this jet stream pattern as well. So what we're going to look at next is the European model, but I'm going to do a seasonal anomaly here. So this is September, October, and November. And instead of showing you pressure patterns, why don't we just go right on and look at precipitation? Again, the models are favoring September, October, November, and then let's slide forward a month, October, November, December. We're drier from not only the Carolinas and Mid-Atlantic, but back to the Mid-South into Texas, where we expect the wetter conditions would be in the Pacific Northwest. That's very characteristic of a La Nina. What about our temperature pattern? Well, as you can imagine, we're going to favor near normal to above normal fall temperatures. That's what should be expected with this developing La Nina. But what I want to do next is I'm just going to go ahead and let's just do this, okay? Let's come back over to our precipitation pattern and let's just go ahead and look at winter. December, January, February. Now, this is almost textbook La Nina pattern. Active Ohio River Valley storm track. Drier in the south central United States. Drier in California, drier along the Gulf Coast. We are always going to be a wild card in this setup. Because if there's an active Ohio River Valley storm track, okay, that's the type of pattern that drags fronts through us all winter long. So we're going to watch out for that carefully. But generally speaking, the models are favoring near normal to above normal temperatures for this winter. Slightly warmer than average is what the forecast is holding. So that means expect a pretty volatile winter for us here across the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas. Now, I've already shared this with you once. Why I'm doing it again is I'd like to now show you the new data that came out last week from the National Multi-Model Ensemble. So this is a suite of models we run in the US. What I just showed you was from Europe. So over the next 3 months, this is what we see for October, November, December from the NMME, favoring, again, drier conditions, wetter in the Pacific Northwest. Very similar to the European model forecast. And let's just go ahead and look at what the temperatures are going to do as well. They favor above normal temperatures for us too. Now, not hot, just warmer than normal fall time period. But remember, fall's a transition season, so we do expect cooler weather to come through at times. But average 3 months together, and what we probably could see is a 1 to 2, maybe 3 degree warm bias. Now from there, why don't we do the same thing and look out toward winter? Because the long-range models by winter are again forecasting that La Nina to continue to develop. So given that, what are we seeing in terms of our precipitation? And you almost see the same thing, right? There's that active Ohio River Valley storm track, wetter in the northwest, drier along the Gulf Coast of Texas and California. We are the wild card here. All right. And from there, let's just go ahead and take a look at what those temperatures are going to be. Let's see here. There we go. And for our winter, we're again favoring mild winter conditions. So that's kind of the latest update we got from all of our long-range models, and that brings you up to speed on the development of this La Nina, which will likely be the most dominant factor moving forward throughout this winter, fall and winter. And now we got a better picture on what the precipitation and temperature patterns are going to look like. So I'll stop it there. I'll talk to you again next Monday, okay? Thank you.